Let's take a few minutes and talk about the difference between the get and post methods for a form and how that looks to a PHP script, as well as maybe some of the ways that we can manipulate that data. So first, we've got a basic form here, and you can see that I've used the post method, and I've just got a generic form field. It's actually called form field, and a submit button in my form. I've hidden all the style data because it's not really relevant to this. And then I've got a script that processes that. You can see it takes the post global variable and grabs the form field data from that and puts it into the variable called result. And then down here, it just prints out the results. And so the way that looks now is I've got the form here. And then if I, let's say, type my name, I can type anything because it's super generic, and it will just display that result. So you can see here that with post, you can't see where that data is. You can't see it as it transitions from one page to the next. You can't see it being sent because in post, the data is actually sent in the header of the web page, which means the non-visible part of the script. So if I go back to the form now, let's look at the script. And I'm just going to make one simple change here. I'm going to change the method from post to get right there. And then on the script side, instead of post global variable, I'm going to use the get global variable. And it works very similarly from a scripting standpoint to what we did before with post. But now if I go back to the form, and I have to reload the form so that I have the right method there, and I just insert that same data and submit it, you can see the result here is the same. But what I want to draw your attention to is right up here, you can see that data being transmitted. And that's very, very common. So if I go to Google and I type giraffe in Google, you can see, maybe you've wondered about this before, you can see all kinds of data up here, and I can actually see my search query right there in the what's called the query string. Okay, and so in this similar query string, you can see here what was submitted, and it's got a space. It's got a plus sign that holds that space there, that signifies that there's a space in that string. And that's what we call URL encoded data. And there's actually a way to URL encode data so that you can submit it on a query string like this. But the interesting thing about this is that I could actually take this, and I can do this right now. Let's copy that whole thing, that address, and I'm going to come back to PHP Storm, and I'm going to go to the form, and right below the form, I'm just going to create a paragraph tag, and I'm going to make a hyperlink that has that query string in it, except I'm going to change the name to Dave Mosley. And when I save that, I can go back to that form now. And there's the link I just created. But watch what I can do is I can actually trigger that form or that form script to show that data by just clicking a link. So you can do all kinds of things with get that you can't do with post, but post has its own advantages too. For example, get only allows you to send plain text data. So if I wanted to send a file or anything more advanced than plain text, or if I wanted it to be more secure, I'd have to use post. But for a lot of things, you can use get.